In the vast expanse of the Kerbal cosmos, where the endless tapestry of stars stretches as far as the eye can see, there exists a remarkable species known as the Kerbals. These intrepid creatures are explorers by nature, their curiosity boundless and their ingenuity unmatched. Join Fizz and I as we embark on a journey into the extraordinary life of a spacefaring Kerbal.
Hello everyone, I'm Fizz, and today we are going to be doing something extremely interesting. I am in Kerbal Space Program. For those of you who don't know what Kerbal Space Program is, I will be explaining it to you. Although I'm not going to be the one explaining it, it's going to be somebody else, and it's not going to be Fuzz. I'm actually using ChatGPT and ElevenLabs. So ElevenLabs is actually a voice synthesis program that is used with ChatGPT. And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it, but essentially it just gives a voice to ChatGPT. A different kind of voice. And ChatGPT actually already has voice prompts, but ElevenLabs makes it more interesting by giving it different voices and stuff. So I'm using ChatGPT 4. So I'm going to be joined by Charlotte, who is going to be my AI mission companion in this game. So let's actually get Charlotte to introduce herself. Charlotte, can you introduce yourself to all the viewers?
Certainly. Fizz. Hello, viewers. I'm Charlotte, Fizz's AI mission companion. I'm here to provide insights and assist during our Kerbal Space Program missions. Together with Fizz, we'll navigate the challenges of space exploration and make informed decisions. Stay tuned as we embark on this exciting journey.
All right, there you go. So while Charlotte was introducing herself, I was just getting my career mode started. So the career mode has a couple of options that I wanted to tick off. Actually, just one option. And that is I'm not going to allow the Kerbals to respawn when they die. So essentially, I'm just playing like regular career mode on normal mode. But if I lose Kerbals in a flight, then I'm not going to respawn them. I'm allowing myself to revert a mission, which basically means that if you want to restart the mission, you can. But I'm not going to use it unless something crazy happens that is of the fault of the physics simulation, basically. So I need to just do this. I'm using a few mods. I will put the mod list in the description. But most of the mods are just, quality of life things. Nothing that actually makes it so that it's easier for me to pilot the ship or anything like that. I'm going to be doing everything manually. So I'm actually going to make my first ship here. Let me just go in and just show you guys real quick exactly how this works. So inside the vehicle assembly building, when you make a ship, you basically need to start with the command pod. So I'm going to put the command pod there. And I guess I should say that this is not going to be a very tutorialized series. I'm going to assume that you guys kind of know what Kerbal Space Program... Kerbal Space Program is. And if you don't, then there's a lot of good tutorials out there. Mike Aben is a good person to watch. Scott Manley is a good person to watch. So I'm just going to... I will explain things when necessary, but I'm not going to spend lots of time explaining exactly how to play the game and stuff. I'm going to use Charlotte to explain stuff too while I do things, but for the first one, I'm just going to kind of tell you exactly what I'm going to be doing here. So this is a command pod. This is where the Kerbals sit. Then what you need is... you need a parachute on top so that once you launch the rocket, it can come back down safely. You can't launch a rocket without some sort of thrust, so I'm going to put this solid fuel booster here. So this is basically just an engine that has fuel inside it already. It doesn't really have much control. You can kind of move it a little bit, but it's not like an actual engine. We don't have any right now, but I'll be unlocking them. And I'll tell you guys exactly how I'm going to do that in a second. You also need some aerodynamics, which is good. So like a basic fin, which will keep the craft from doing crazy flips and stuff like that. Oops. I actually need to do this in symmetry mode. So these are the kinds of things I'm not going to be explaining, like, how to get psychosymmetry and all that stuff. So let's just go and call this first flight. Okay, and then I'm going to save this. Now, one thing I forgot to do was accept submissions. So you can actually accept missions in this game. And I'm going to be doing that as soon as I get past this black loading screen here. I'm not going to be editing too much. I want you guys to see everything that I'm doing. So, apologies for some of black screens and stuff that you'll see. So here we go. This is the mission control building. This is where you can get missions, and missions actually give you money, and money lets you buy or build, bigger ships and stuff like that, and get upgrades and that kind of stuff. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to get this gather scientific data from Kerbin, and of course Kerbin is the home planet of the Kerbals, and then we want launch our first vessel. So with this version of mission control, we can only accept 2 missions. There's a bunch of buildings here. The vehicle assembly building is where you actually build your rockets. Mission control is where you get your missions. The launch pad is where you launch rockets. Tracking station is shows you the whole solar system, which you can see here. If I zoom out, this is the system, and I will get Charlotte to explain all of that in a little bit. But so I actually am pretty familiar with the game, but not as good as some other people. Like I've only gotten to Kerbin's 2 moons. I've never gotten past that point. So if I do get past that point in this, it's all going to be brand new. Okay, so we talked about the tracking station. This is research and development. This is where you actually use the science that you get from missions to upgrade your rockets. You can get better rockets, better fuel systems. There's a whole bunch of stuff here, and I'll take you guys through it as I go through. That's kind of the idea of this. So that's research and development. The astronaut complex is where you can manage your Kerbal astronauts. So you have pilots, you have engineers, and you have scientists. Those are the 3 main functions. Pilots obviously pilot the ship. Engineers can repair stuff and give you information about your actual flight and stuff. And scientists are good at resetting experiments and doing things that are science related. So that's basically that. So I've already built the first ship, and let's take it onto the launch pad. Now I'm going to get Charlotte to explain what our first mission is here. Charlotte, in 3 or 4 sentences, can you explain to everybody what our first mission in Kerbal Space Program is going to be?
Of course. Fizz, in our first mission in Kerbal Space Program, we will be launching a rocket from Kerbin's surface.
That's right.
The objective is to test the rocket's design and performance, familiarize ourselves with the game's controls, and gather initial data from the ascent. This foundational step sets the stage for more complex future missions.
Oh, and actually, I completely forgot to put the mystery goo containers on there, so I'm just going to actually go back to the vehicle assembly building, and we'll put the science mystery goo, and we're going to do 2 of them, and we're going to put them right here. And again, I'm not really going to explain too much about... Okay, let's actually make the... Oops. Let's put these more in line. Oh. There we go. That's better. So you have things like center of mass, center of thrust, all that stuff. I'm not going to explain that and how it works, but you can maybe Charlotte can explain that actually. Let's see. Let's get Charlotte to explain that. Charlotte, can you explain to the viewers in 3 or 4 sentences what you should do with center of mass and center of thrust in Kerbal Space Program? While she's doing that, I will launch this.
Certainly. Fizz, in Kerbal Space Program, it's crucial to align the center of mass, COM, and the center of thrust, COT, for stable rocket flight. The COM represents the point where a rocket's weight is balanced, and the COT indicates where thrust is applied. Ideally, the COT should be directly below the COM for vertical ascents, ensuring the rocket flies straight and doesn't spin or veer off course. Proper alignment of these 2 points ensures efficient and controlled launches.
All right, perfect. So while she was explaining that, I got onto the launch pad and I did a mystery goo experiment. I did a crew report, and now I'm going to do an EVA report. So EVA is extravehicular activities. Now, at the beginning of the game, you can only do an EVA report on the surface of Kerbin until you make your astronaut complex until you upgrade your astronaut complex. See, Charlotte is way better at explaining stuff than I am. So I just did an EVA. Now, if I'm in flight, I'm not going to be able to do the EVA until I upgrade. So we're going to get back in the ship, and now we're going to launch the ship. We're going to launch our craft. So there's a throttle control here. I don't actually need that right now because the throttle control is for actual engines and not SRBs, which is what this is. So I'm just going to launch it. 3, 2, 1, lift off. And I forgot to add a parachute. And I forgot to put SAS on. Oh wait, no, I did add a parachute. Why did? Oh, because I didn't do the staging properly. Okay, well, that's still going to count. That's funny. Charlotte, can you believe that I forgot to stage my parachute properly?
Staging is crucial in Kerbal Space Program. Properly sequencing the parachute in the staging ensures it deploys at the right time. If it's not staged correctly, you might activate it too early or too late, which can lead to complications during re-entry or landing. It's always a good idea to double-check your staging before launching to avoid such oversights. If you're still in the vehicle assembly building, make the necessary adjustments. If you've already launched, you might be able to adjust staging in flight, but be cautious.
Well, it was too late for me to adjust the staging in flight because the parachute had already deployed when I did it. But so normally I wouldn't make that kind of mistake, but I'm very focused on getting Charlotte involved here. So anyway, it was fine. Normally we would splash down in the water, but I couldn't do that because the parachute deployed. So that's why the SRB exploded when I landed. But that's okay. It makes it more interesting. So I got 11.9 science from that. So the crew report, the EVA report, the mystery goo, and then that gave me. Oh, and also recovery of the vessel that survived the flight gave me some science. So and then I recovered all of these parts. One of them I did not recover, which was the SRB, which is fine. And then I'm not sure what this is. First flight debris. Okay, well, let's recover that, and we'll recover that. Okay, so staging, yes, very important. Okay, so let's go in here. This is exactly like what happens when you don't pay attention. So what we need to do is actually stage the parachute separately. I was wondering why it flipped out like that. I also didn't put the SAS on, which is stability assist, which makes the pilot allows the pilot to basically keep the craft stable. So that's all good. It was all successful. So mostly. But that's kind of the funny thing about this game is that you can play this very seriously and not make mistakes, but I actually think it's more entertaining when mistakes are made and stuff because who wants to see somebody play things perfectly, right? So yeah, and I know a lot of people min-max this game. I'm not a min-maxer of in general. So you can, if you're really good at the game and you want to leave comments about how I could have min-maxed it, you can, but don't take offense if I don't listen to you. That's just the way I am. I just kind of like to have fun and don't want to really worry about min-maxing too much. Okay, so we got some milestones here. We did a bunch of stuff. We did an EVA. We broke a speed record. We launched the first vessel. We broke another speed record. We hit an altitude of 500 meters. Recovered our first crew from a mission, and we have performed the first experiment at home. So we got a bunch of money for that. We launched our first vessel, so we got that completed. We gathered scientific data. We got that. Perfect. So now we can go into research and development, and we can do. We have 18.9 science. This is going to be 5 science. So this is going to give us some new engines. Oh, well, some engines in general. We don't actually have any liquid fuel engines, so we're going to get those, and we're going to get a better solid rocket booster, solid fuel booster there. And then in engineering, we're going to get we're going to get a decoupler, which is useful to decouple parts from a craft so that you don't come down with more than you need. And then also, we also are going to be getting a Communitron 16, which is such an antenna, and then another version of that. And and also the thermometer. We're going to get a thermometer which we can run other tests on. So we'll grab that. And I think we still have 8. But we're not going to be able to do any of this stuff. Okay, so that's that. So now we're going to go back out here, and we'll go to the mission control, and then we'll see what other missions we can get. So we have escape the atmosphere. I think we can definitely do that. So I'll grab that one. And then we have one to test the flea solid fuel booster at the launch site. So that's actually a good one because we're going to be doing that right off the bat. So let's take that one. Let's see. Yeah, that one's a good one. Okay. So those two are good. Now we're going to go in here, and I'm just going to make some changes to my craft here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a liquid fuel engine here. So I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to go into engines. I'm going to add the swivel, but first it needs fuel. So I'm going to add a fuel tank here. So a couple of fuel tanks actually. There we go. Why is this? Go away. Okay. And then we need to put this here. And I'm actually gonna do, so then we need the decoupler, which is in coupling. I'll explain this all in a minute. So I'm gonna put that there, and then I'm gonna put the solid fuel booster here, and then add the fins back. We need them, oops, on this side. There we go. And that should be good. So now the staging. Okay. So what we want first is we want the solid fuel booster to go up first. And actually, I'm going to change this to 3. There we go. We want that to happen first on the first stage. And then after that thing runs out of fuel, we're going to decouple it. So we're going to remove it from the rocket, basically. And then after that happens, then we're going to fire this engine, the swivel, and then we're going to come down for a landing, and we're going to splash down. So actually, I forgot, we're going to need a decoupler here too. I don't think we have, do we have heat shields yet? I don't think we do. No, that's fine. We're not going to be going too crazy fast or far. So that's it. So first stage, decouple. Second stage, and see the staging. That, if I had left it there, it would have fired the rocket and decoupled it in the same step. Fire the rocket, once it runs out of fuel, then we decouple it, and then we come in for a landing. Okay, good. So that's that. So let's save this. So I'm going to do this flight, but while I'm doing it, I'm going to get Charlotte to explain about the Kerbal system, because like I said, I have not gone past, I've not gotten past Minmus myself, which is the second moon. So let's get her to explain briefly. Charlotte, can you explain to the viewers about the Kerbal system in 3 to 4 sentences?
Certainly. Fizz.
And
The Kerbal system, which you might be referring to as Carbon, is the fictional solar system in which Kerbal Space Program is set.
She didn't actually understand me.
It consists of a central star, Kerbal, and several planets and moons orbiting it. These celestial bodies range from gas giants to rocky planets, and have unique characteristics and challenges. Exploring the Kerbal system allows players to undertake a variety of missions, from landing on different planets to establishing bases.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to do SAS. Okay. So this rocket is spinning out because I don't actually have like proper fins on here, and I'm just going to lower the. That's the reason why this is happening, but that's okay. We just wanted to get into the air. Now I'm gonna do. I'm gonna observe mystery goo here. So we got that. I'm going to do. I'm gonna save the other mystery goo for when we are. Maybe. Oh, I forgot to put the thermometer on there actually. Okay, so we're out of fuel, right? So now I can decouple this. And we're not actually going to land in the water because I had way too much thrust. That was the problem. So then we can use time warp to kind of skip ahead. And actually, I don't know if this parachute is set to. I think we want it to be at 2,000, and this should be 0.2. I think those are the numbers. Anyway, we're going to launch the parachute, and then we're going to drift our way down to the ground. Woo! That was the the fuel, the liquid fuel engine that just hit the ground. All right. So there you have. So Charlotte said, yeah, there's several planets and moons. Yeah, I guess I didn't give her enough room to talk about this. Charlotte, can you tell us what the planets are in the Kerbal system?
In the Kerbal Space Program's Kerbal system, there are several planets, each with its own unique characteristics. Here's a list of the main planets. Moho, the closest planet to Kerbal, resembling Mercury. It has no atmosphere and a challenging orbit. Eve, a purple planet with a thick atmosphere, often compared to Venus. It has a moon named Gilly. Kerbal, the home planet of the Kerbals, similar to Earth. It has 2 moons, the Mon and Minmus. Duna, a red planet that resembles Mars. It has a thin atmosphere and a moon named Ike. Dress, a dwarf planet located in an asteroid belt. It's a rocky body without an atmosphere. Jewel, a gas giant resembling Jupiter. It has several moons. Lathe, with an atmosphere and oceans. Vol, Tulo, Bop, and Paul. Elu, a distant, icy dwarf planet, akin to Pluto in our solar system. These planets and their moons offer a range of exploration opportunities and challenges for players in the game.
All right, perfect. There you go. So I landed, and I completed that one mission, which was to test the flea. Yeah, it was a flea. So now we have another one here that we can test the swivel in flight over Kerbin. So this one actually wants me to be at a specific altitude. I don't really like those ones, to be honest. They're kind of annoying. So I'm not going to do that one. We can test a Valiant at the launch site. That's something that's easy to do. Test the Pug liquid fuel engine landed at Kerbin. You can do that one also. So these ones where it says, landed at Kerbin and stuff like that, you can do those just literally at the launch site. So I actually have, let's see. Okay, let's take this one. And I can't take any more because I need to upgrade stuff. So actually, let's upgrade. We want to upgrade. What's the best thing to upgrade? Let's ask Charlotte, actually. Charlotte, what's the best thing to upgrade first in Kerbal Space Program in the buildings?
In Kerbal Space Program, prioritizing which buildings to upgrade first can vary based on your playstyle and objectives.
Okay. I'm actually going to skip what she's saying because she's going to talk for a while, and she's not going to actually give me something useful. It's just basically she's saying based on playstyle. So I'm gonna start with let's see the track. Oops, I didn't need to go in there. I think normally I would start with the mission control 75,000, and the astronaut complex is also 75,000. It's okay to have 2 missions at once. I want to be able to do EVAs off of the planet, so I'm going to actually get that. So now I should be able to, conform EVAs and can plant flights. So there's another thing that people do is like they drive around the whole Kerbal Space Center and do science on each of these buildings, because each of these buildings is considered a different biome. That takes a long time, and really you don't get that much science from it. So I'm not going to do that. You can get a decent amount just by being further and further into space, so not a huge deal. So now I have 25 science, so I can actually get some more good stuff here. We have Reliant Thumper. The Thumper is a good solid fuel booster. Survivability. Oh, the heat shields. Yeah, I'm going to want that, and the barometer. I'm going to do this right now. So we got another science experiment. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to make some changes to this. So before, this thing wasn't heavy enough, and also it was too light for the amount of power that I was giving. And that's another thing I should mention is there is something called thrust to weight ratio. So you can see the thrust to weight ratio should be around 1 point. It should be above 1, but below 1.8, I would say. So between those values is probably good. This is a thrust to weight ratio of 3.15. That's why it was way too strong. And this one was also 4.62. That's way too much. So one way you can change that is by adding more fuel to make the rocket heavier. So I'm just going to add some more fuel here, and that actually will let us go further. So let's do that. So now if you look at the thrust to weight ratio, it's still pretty high over here, and over here it's actually also still quite high. But what we can do actually is we can reduce the thrust limiter on the flea. And actually, you know what? I'm not going to use the flea anymore. Let's go with. Do we have side coupler? No, not yet. Okay, so let's go with. We have the hammer here. Let's put that guy down. So I'm going to just go into science. And I'm going to grab. Oops, not that. I'm going to grab the barometer, and we're going to put that right. We only need one of them. Put that right here, and then we want a thermometer, and we'll put that right here. So these are things that we can do while we're in flight and all that stuff to get more science, basically. So that's that. So the way I'm going to make sure that this thing doesn't flip out on me is, number one, I'm going to remember to put SAS on. And number two, I'm not going to fire at full blast. So I'm going to bring this thrust limiter down to 65. And let's see what the thrust to weight is now. 1.45. That's perfect. Okay. So now we're going to launch. And, oh, wait a second. What was the mission was test the Valiant. Oh, right. Okay. So let's actually swap this swivel for the Valiant. There we go. The Valiant is lighter, but it doesn't have as good a control. The swivel you can actually control in the air better. Let's see, mass. Yeah, it's much lighter. Okay, so we'll put that back on. Make sure our staging is all good. Yes, all good. Okay, and then we're just going to launch this guy. Now, I don't know if it's going to let me do this. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to, let's see. So what you do is, if you want to test something, you can just go run test. And they said they wanted it, was it in flight or was it? No, yeah, it was right here. So we do run test. There we go. So that basically satisfied that contract. And that was the only contract that we had, I believe. Okay, so now I'm going to run some science here. So let's do we're going to log some pressure data. And we're going to log the temp. And then I'm going to EVA Jebediah, and I'm going to grab these. I'm going to take the data from here, and I'm going to take the data from here. That way, I can store these inside, and I can run these tests again once I'm in the air. So now, what we're going to do is I'm going to put my, oh, yeah, because the engine's on, I forgot. So let's shut down the engine, okay? And then I'm going to just throttle up to 2/3. Once I detach this guy here, then I'm going to not blast off so much. So, and actually, I think there was, oh wait, no, don't we have oh, I did that one already, didn't I? Oh no, here, escape the atmosphere. Okay, so that's what we need to do now. So I'm going to launch this thing, and I'm going to pitch towards 90 degrees here on the nav ball, so that we can go over the water, basically. And I think that should be good. So let's launch. Okay, so once we get to about 100 meters per second, that's when I'm going to start pitching over. And you can see this seems like it's a lot more stable in terms of how fast we're going. So there we go. And I'm going to pitch over here a little bit. And I'm going to run out of fuel soon. And we're going to just check the distance, apoapsis and periapsis. I'll get Charlotte to explain that in a second. Let me just detach this guy, and then I'm going to, oh, I shut down the engine, so we're going to have to activate it. There we go. Now I'm just going to go like this, and hopefully we can keep this thing kind of stable. There we go. Okay. Charlotte, can you please explain to everybody the difference between apoapsis and periapsis in 3 sentences?
Certainly. Viz. In orbital mechanics, the apoapsis is the point in an object's orbit where it is farthest from the celestial body it's orbiting. Conversely, the periapsis is the point where it's closest. These terms are essential for understanding an orbit's shape and the highest and lowest altitudes a spacecraft reaches during its orbit around a celestial body.
Right, so there you go. So you can see my apoapsis is at 32 right now. To get into space, you need to actually be at 70 to 72. And then if I look at the actual map here, you can see, where are we? You can see on the map, this is basically the point that my apoapsis is at. The periapsis is not visible right now. That it would be on the other side of the planet if we actually were not going to crash into the planet. But as of right now, it's not there yet. So we want to follow this marker here, the yellow marker, which is the prograde marker. And now see our apoapsis is 120. Now we've run out of fuel, so I'm gonna decouple this guy. Basically, the prograde and retrograde markers are where you need to burn to be able to go in particular direction, basically. So, like right now, I'm pointed prograde, which is like my forward direction. If I pointed retrograde, which is over here, I would be firing my rockets in the reverse direction, and that would actually kill my my velocity. So normally you would do that if you're trying to burn in different directions. But for right now, it's fine just to be here. But once we actually start going back into the atmosphere, I'm going to want to point retrograde, because I want to do something called aerobraking, which is like pointing the craft in a way where the atmosphere is going to create a bunch of drag, and that's going to slow me down naturally because of the surface area here on the craft. It's makes it so that I'm not actually pointing in a ballistic trajectory, which is like this. This is very aerodynamic. If I came down this way, I would be picking up speed, because it's kind of like like I'm a missile basically, right? So we want to point in this orientation. So now while I'm actually in space, I'm gonna observe my mystery goo canister here. So I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna do a crew report. 5 science. Now I can actually also do an EVA and do an EVA report while we're in suborbital space here. So I'm going to grab that. I believe I can also do the pressure data. Oh wait, I need to be inside. I need to log. Yeah, get that, and then let's do temperature. Grab that, and I'm actually just gonna grab that data also, just in case. So we take the data, take this data, and then we're going to go back inside. Now this mystery goo, I can't reset it. It's already been used. Wait, did I grab that? Actually, should I grab that? I did. Collect data. Okay. I can't restore it because he's not a scientist, so that one's been used up. So now we are. Wait, why am I? Oh my god. When you level up your astronauts, you can actually control this better. Like I can tell him to actually go to the retrograde marker, but I'm spinning out kind of. There we go. Just kind of fix my spin. There we go. That's fine. So I'm gonna speed up time here so that we can come down faster. And there we go. So now I'm gonna point. Once we actually start entering the atmosphere, it will naturally point in that direction, but I can't really. Oh, because my SAS is off. Duh. Okay, that's why. See, if Charlotte was actually like listening to me, I can actually make Charlotte listen to me all the time, but then she's gonna be interrupting me every time I stop talking. She's gonna start chiming in with what she thinks. So I mean, she probably would have been able to pick up on that. Okay, so let's speed this up. So there you can see this is like the the heat / drag effect that's going on, and I don't have a heat shield, so that's why this is, you're seeing heat markers going on here. So if something overheats, then it can actually explode. Or if it's experiencing too much drag, then that's what's going to happen. So now if I do this, let's see, that's going to be 1.6. I'm not going to do that. I hope that I'm going to land in the water here. So let's actually deploy the parachute. Doesn't look like... we're good. We're good. I want to land in the water because I want to do some more tests in the water. Hopefully we do land in the water. So I'm just speeding up time here. Okay, the parachute just deployed. So when you're coming down, you want to have a speed at least under I would say 10 meters per second, but 5 to 6 meters per second is good so that you don't actually explode. So let's just get down here. So once we splash down, I'm going to do a bunch more tests in the water, get some more science. Now we completed a couple of things. We broke a land distance record. Yeah, a bunch of stuff here. Spacewalk. Okay, I forgot to turn off the speed up. That's why it looked like I came down really fast, which I actually didn't. So we can delete that. We escaped the atmosphere, so we finished that goal. Yeah, we did the contract to escape the atmosphere, so that's done. Perfect. Now, while we're in the water, I'm going to observe the mystery view. And there we got 4 signs from that, so we're going to keep that. I'm going to do pressure data, keep that. I'm going to do temperature, keep that. And then I'm going to do a crew report from the water. Oh, that overwrites the crew report. So what I need to do is I need to do an EVA. EVA, and then we need to collect, we need to take the data, and then we need to board. That's happened, and then we can do a crew report now. Got that. Oh, and you know what? Actually, I should have done an EVA report. So while we're in the water, we can do an EVA report. Now we have a whole bunch of science, and then we're going to board, and then we're going to recover the vessel. Recover the vessel. There we go. All right, so there we go. So we got all of this stuff. We got 103 science. I'm actually going to spend that science in the next episode. I think that's good for this one. In the next episode, we're actually going to try, I should have, we have a contract to orbit Kerbal. I'm going to do that. So we'll do that next time. Test the heat shield, all this stuff. I'll figure this stuff out later. You can actually take tourists to space. That might be a good one to do. But we'll do that next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. And I'm going to be doing this series with Charlotte. And hopefully you guys will like it. So leave a comment down below, and like and subscribe. And join the Discord if you want to chat with me and some of our other members. And we will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.